Denver 7 On Demand is brought to you by Ferguson and BAC Appliance Center, the best in bath, kitchen, and lighting for your home.
I'm Ann Trujillo with the latest from Denver 7. Tonight, Colorado Parks and Wildlife is defending its decision to euthanize a doe that attacked a woman. But others say that doe was just defending its young and should have been relocated rather than put down. Denver 7's Megan Lopez is going 360.
Call it a hazard of living in Colorado.
This morning we had a cyclist that ran into a doe.
Moments when humans and wildlife come into contact. There can be happy endings.
We were able to save one of the fawns.
Other times there are not, like the case of an 85-year-old woman who was walking her dog in Craig when she came upon a doe and her fawn and startled it.
Caused her attack.
The woman was injured and the doe was put down. Tonight we're going 360 on that decision. Hear from Colorado Parks and Wildlife, who says it tries to protect animals when it can, but that there are instances when the animals are too aggressive. A conservation group who says it's not the animal's fault and that state policies need to change. And hikers who say humans need to do a better job of respecting boundaries.
It's a tough balancing act sometimes.
For Jason Clay from Colorado Parks and Wildlife,
we have a very strong responsibility to keep the public safe.
This was an unfortunate instance.
It's the darkest days of any of our wildlife officers that they have on the job is when they have to put them down. They don't enjoy that aspect at all.
However, CPW says this doe was unusually aggressive, out of its habitat, and attacked a woman who wasn't trying to interact with it.
These things are going to happen.
They understand that.
And know certain times of year animals are going to be more aggressive.
And there are times when they don't euthanize, like a recent moose attack in Nederland.
That was a case of some, normal behavior, a little bit defending its calf in its natural environment.
But people need to remember,
wildlife are just that. They're wild. They're unpredictable.
So we're starting to encroach on more and more wildlife habitat.
Meanwhile, Samantha Bruger with conservation group Wild Earth Guardians says it's not the animal's fault.
However, the doe is acting like a doe would act.
She thinks wildlife agencies are too quick to kill.
Wildlife Services really employs euthanasia and killing first, especially in human conflict situations.
And says it's time to revisit state policies.
I think that wildlife management in Colorado needs to adapt with the growing population and with the best available science that's come out.
To find a way to protect both humans and animals as more development happens. Out on the Apex Trail in Golden today,
I've come across coyotes, deer, and elk.
A reminder to hikers and bikers that they're leaving their territory and entering the animals.
We're kind of in their world.
People we spoke with say they do their best to respect wildlife and
just remember you're in their home and that they're going to possibly feel protective.
And know that we're not in a zoo and, there's the ability of getting hurt.
So for them, the key is,
I think, to steer clear of them as much as possible.
And when the animals come into our territory,
discourage their coming into more public spaces.
Like not feeding them so they don't make a habit of coming back. Despite their differences, everyone we spoke with agreed that education is the key to coexistence.
Part of the responsibility that comes with living in this state is knowing how to live with wildlife responsibly.
Megan Lopez, Denver 7.
And we want to know what you think. Email us 360@thedenverchannel.com. You can also send us a message on Facebook or Twitter. The drunk driver responsible for a deadly crash in Lakewood has been convicted of all 15 counts. That includes first-degree murder with extreme indifference. Todd Grodzinski had already been caught drinking and driving 7 times before when he smashed into a car stopped at a red light at Kipling and Colfax. The impact pushed a car into oncoming traffic, and Angela Wimmer, just 25 years old, was killed in this crash. Grodzinski is still awaiting sentencing, but could easily face decades, if not spend the rest of his life in prison. And the Uber driver killed Saturday night in a hit and run has been identified as 33-year-old Yafir Hassan. Denver police say this is the man responsible for his death. Investigators released this mugshot today of Jeffrey Sloan. They say he was the man driving a stolen Jeep when he ran a red light at Colfax and Colorado Boulevard, hitting Hassan's car at 80 miles an hour. A witness saw him walking away in the aftermath, but police were able to get there and quickly arrest him. Now, the other man who was a passenger in that Uber, Dr. Mark Carla, is in critical condition tonight. He's a Commerce City dentist. Carla is also the son-in-law of Colorado Springs Mayor and former Colorado Attorney General John Suthers. We could soon get our most complete look yet at what happened before, during, and after the shooting at STEM School in Highlands Ranch. The juvenile suspect is set to appear in court on Friday, and after that, documents detailing the timeline and motive could be released. Now, of course, there are many moving parts here, and it's possible prosecutors or the defense may fight to keep that out of the public eye. We'll keep watching it and let you know what happens. Colorado Governor Jared Polis is attempting to bolster our state's vaccination rates without forcing people to get shots. Thursday, he signed an executive order directing the Department of Public Health to better educate parents on vaccines. And the hope here is that more families will be willing to come to the table if they realize the risk their children face without vaccination. Still, the governor made it clear today he is opposed to requiring vaccines.
We have in our state Christian Scientists, we have people who have objections, and nobody should be forced to do anything with their bodies. I'm pro-choice. I think it's your body and it's your decision. And I'm not about to say any faith is wrong.
The order also looks to streamline the paperwork necessary for vaccinations, as well as develop plans for specific parts of the state. The former Mexican president and his wife are making a stop here in Denver. Vicente Fox came to the Metro State University campus on Thursday to talk about a new healthcare partnership with the university. But Fox, an outspoken critic of President Trump, did not miss a chance to criticize the president, saying his conflict with Mexico is hurting U.S. growth.
So the only thing I envision is that he's not reelected and that we finish with the Trump era and we start a new path of this great nation.
Fox also doubled down, saying Mexico will not pay for the border wall, complete with an F-bomb. The partnership with Metro State University is still in the early phases, but Fox says under the program, he would bring students to Mexico for health training and research. Former Colorado Governor John Hickenlooper and Senator Michael Bennet have made the cut to appear in the first Democratic presidential debates. And they'll be sharing a very crowded stage. 20 candidates made the final cut. They'll appear on NBC News over the course of 2 nights, 10 people at a time. Those will happen later on this month. Right now, the Maroon Bells near Aspen are even snowier than usual for this time of year. We shot this video Thursday from Air Tracker 7, and hikers should expect to trudge through avalanche debris along the trails. And that said, at least getting there is easier. Shuttle service begins on Saturday. An Aurora man tells Contact 7 a water leak has caused all sorts of disgusting issues in his apartment. That includes mushrooms growing out of his carpet. Our Lance Hernandez went to the complex to get some answers.
The wet carpet squishing under Sean Reese's shoes. Reese says the carpet has been damp or squishy since March. That's when he first noticed these mushrooms growing at the base of his dining room wall.
I didn't know what it was at first. I was scared to touch it. I thought it was I thought it was like some kind of bug or something. I didn't want to touch it.
Reese says maintenance crews removed the shrooms and cleaned the carpet, but the problem didn't go away. The 34-year-old says his asthma started acting up. He can't help but wonder if there's mold behind these walls.
I'm a kidney patient. I had a kidney transplant. My immune system is compromised, so I'm not supposed to be around this stuff. I've been sick every day since I've been here.
He called the city, which sent code enforcement officers out this morning. Code enforcement ordered management to remove the excess water, repair and replace damaged drywall, clean and remove all mold and mildew, and start treating the unit for a roach infestation.
So we'll be checking back with you in a week to make sure this stuff was completed. If they don't complete it within the 7 days or have the pest control out in 7 days, they get a fail, and then they get a 10-day final notice before they're served a summons to court.
We checked with Reese's neighbor on the other side of the dining room wall. He said his carpet is soaked too. He said his problem started during the last hailstorm a couple weeks ago. We've reached out to BLDG management and are still waiting to hear back. Lance Hernandez, Denver 7.
Anytime you need our help, please call or text the number on your screen. You can also email us at contact7@thedenverchannel.com. And now from the First Alert Weather Center, here's a look at your forecast for the next 7 days. We'll stay in the 80s and in the 70s. Tomorrow, the warmest day at 83, but the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, looks like a pretty good chance of afternoon storms. This has been your Denver 7 On Demand update. Thanks so much for joining us. And check back here later tonight for another update and download the Denver 7 app for breaking news and alerts. I'm Ann Trujillo.